What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of August 6th and the 7th of 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you all for and everybody that did join the beginner to reader class. We wrapped that up yesterday, and yeah, that was great. Feels good to be done, but it's kind of bittersweet at the same time. But thank you all so much for joining, and I hope that the ones that did found it helpful and learned something, anything. Hope that that's how it went. And yeah, it's for sale on my website. If anybody's interested, it goes through a lot of layers, and it's a lot of content. So if you're interested, it's down there. Check it out. Let's look at this weekend. Let's look at the weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend. We get, of course, a lot of fire energy with the moon finishing up in Scorpio, where it was at fall position and coming into Sagittarius. So there is this sort of rise of the Phoenix as it crosses this cusp here. I think trying to have us look at the more hopeful side, trying to show us the bigger vision from a more intuitive standpoint. And the sun is definitely at that midpoint of Leo here, and it's getting ready for some big aspects. So I think our heart knows that there's some fated things right around the corner. And I would say the big deal is this Mercury, because it is in the golden yod with Pluto and Jupiter, with the biquintiles and the quintile. So there's definitely a lot of fated things. And this Mercury in Virgo, of course, is helping us look at things very analytically to the point, like we're getting to the bottom of things. So there's been a lot of Mercury action with, of course, the yod it was in with Neptune and Pluto, and now it's over here in a golden yod with Pluto and Jupiter. I just think that there's a lot that's trying to have us make big decisions. Of course, we're seeing Mars also square Saturn. So that we're just in a time right now where you have to make smart decisions. And I think that intuitively what's best for you. You can kind of see the horizon. I don't think it's a weekend to play around with fire. Like, you might get burned. And I know that it can seem kind of fun. We're going to see that moon also finish off the day with that nice trine over to Jupiter, from Sagittarius, where Jupiter is the home. Jupiter is the ruling planet, of course. But gosh, and it's going to be in that grand trine with Lilith and Jupiter. Play with fire, you might get burned. It's very interesting. We can want to kind of do it all or try a bunch of different things, when I think we actually have to be very smart, very intelligent, know, the deeper sort of character within yourself, and the highest standard. I feel like there's a very high standard to your soul right now. And if you can act in a very intelligent way, and not force things, but do the things that feel very right to your heart, they will have a great reward in the end. And I think that it can be humbling decisions that need to be made. We can kind of want all these big things, but it's like these little things right now. These little choices could be life-changing, both ways. If they're not made properly, they could take your life one way. If they're made properly, they can take your life another. This is going to be unique to you. So it's definitely a Saturday to pay some very close attention. Mercury here is in Cancer, of course, trying to have us get to the emotional side of our values and build relationships that have comfort and, a protective element to them. There has to be like a grounded base here, if you will. And it's coming off the quincunx to Saturn, but it's working on the trine over to Neptune, which is beautiful in many ways. Especially even with Juno there with Neptune. There's a lot of beautiful energy for relationships right now, but I think we can kind of want to put the rose-colored glasses on or be a little too compassionate. I think compassion's always great, but make sure you're being smart with your own energy, with your heart, in relationships, making very smart decisions. There's a positive element. I feel like we can feel better. I feel like we're going to feel like things are shifting, and we can have a positive outlook on it, but we can also kind of take it too far on Saturday. And you're going to want to really know your specific truth and make the little tweaks and changes on Saturday to be in alignment. I think it's an alignment weekend, but we can want to kind of set ourselves free. And I don't think it's bad to set ourselves free, but at the same time, like, oh my gosh, just make sure things make sense. If they make sense, they'll be fine. If they don't make sense, they don't make sense. Don't do it, you know. And they could be kind of big, hard decisions that our ego can want to force its way through with Mars square Saturn. And be careful. Slow down with Mars in Taurus. I know it's with Uranus, and it's like we can all definitely feel like we're ready to make that radical shift. We're ready to liberate. But we're ready to see what's on the horizon out here, but just don't jump off the cliff just yet. Make sure the water's deep enough. If there's water down there, I don't know. Like, just pay attention to detail and you'll be fine. If you don't look at the detail, well, it might not feel like you're jumping off the cliff. It might feel like you're falling. And that would be an interesting journey in itself. Sunday, we do have that sun reach the midpoint of Leo there at 15 degrees. And we're starting to feel that square over to Uranus, that square over to the North Node, and of course the South Node. And we are going to get the trine to the moon in Sagittarius. So, you know, there's a lot, and even another grand trine, of course, with Chiron, because the sun's building up on that trine to Chiron as well. Lots of fire. There's a lot of risk taking, and I feel like people are going to want to take some crazy risks right now. I don't think that's a bad idea, but it is the Sunday where Mars is exactly square Saturn. So again, this weekend, like, don't do anything just to do it. Like, please look before you leap. Play with fire. You might get burned. It's one of those weekends. Don't be overly cautious, overly, like, you know, mundane and boring and all that stuff, but just pay attention. There's a biseptile with Venus and Uranus. So I do overall think that it's really it's really the critical mind right now that is going to understand what you're harvesting in life, what makes sense, what needs to be developed more or paid more attention to. Just focus on that. We can be very intuitive this week, and who knows where intuition is going to take us. That Venus is going to make that trine over to Neptune. It's beautiful energy, but at the same time, are we just saying F it just to F it in life right now? Or is there a reality base to it? Is there something real? It's interesting. It's interesting. The moon's it's going to get so close to the sextile to Saturn, it's not going to fully get there, but it is going to make quincunxes to Uranus and the North Node as well. I think there's a lot of different avenues, a lot of different ways to go about things right now. I think that there are big doors out there. I think we just have to know who we are. You know who you are this weekend and you make the smart choice, things are going to be fine. They're going to light up. You're going to have a great time. You're going to be with the right people. It could feel like absolute bliss, but I feel like it's just one little slip up. One little slip up, and you can feel like you just went. That's so funny. This went out for the second day in a row. One little slip up, and you can feel like, oh my God, how did I get here? Why am I here? What did I do? But I think spiritually, we're really getting connected to the best value within ourselves, the thing that we're really trying to create and bring to life. It's very interesting the way this weekend feels. It feels like you just can't do anything you want to do. If you push it, just to push it, if you think that you can just play God in your life right now, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's going to work out very well. I feel like you know what you need to do. It's going to show up. It's going to present itself in some way. Trust that. Keep hope and a belief that if it's not exactly what you want in the moment, maybe it's just your ego trying to force itself, and we're trying to maybe think with the sun trine Chiron, moon trine Chiron, that we've done all the work. We're all healed. Everything's fine. We're ready to power through and just go get it. And that's when we slip. And that's when there's an accident. And it's like, oh, I didn't read the fine print with Mercury here in Virgo with these pretty like spiritually charged aspects. A golden yacht, a biseptile. Just being real. It's definitely time to pay attention. And with Mercury, with Venus getting ready to by Monday make that opposition to Pluto, this is the final time we're going to see that Venus oppose Pluto in Capricorn. It is changing a paradigm of relationships, how we relate to what we really need emotionally, how we take care of ourselves, and what the bigger destiny is. And it's a very transformative weekend. It's a very special weekend, and this is not a time. It's not a time to play around. Don't play. Like, if you know. Hold true, but I feel like there's temptations. There's like, ooh, look over here, do this. Oh, do this. Just be careful. You guys will be fine. And I think as long as you are paying attention to the detail in your life and not just doing something crazy just to do it or breaking, it's almost like people are going to want to break rules that they set for themselves that were important rules. And I'm not talking about like rules that people put on you. Like, these are your rules because they feel in alignment with you. And, we all have to have boundaries somewhere in life. This is not the time to break your own rules. Like, stay vigilant for what you know is right within you. Oh, yeah, Queen of Swords. Yeah, very smart, very particular. You know what's important. You know what's of value right now. You know what you need to do. Do not get off that throne of you knowing and your sharpness. And if you have to be cold to hold a boundary, I say be cold. People are gonna want to play with fire. Don't. Be careful. The Magician reverse. Oh yeah, I can just manifest anything I want. I can do whatever. I'm the magician. And trust me, I'm a proponent of using your magic always. But there's there's tests this weekend. It's a big test of your spiritual maturity. And I think if you do all that, you're gonna find out that you're gonna have all the fun, all the excitement, all the good times. It's going to feel like the red carpet was laid out for you by the universe because you made the smart, big, mature, adult, spiritual, from God decisions, and you didn't just do that one little, it's going to be one little thing, because that's Mercury too. It's little. It's going to be one little thing that's going to try and sway us from the most beautiful thing we can harvest in life. Don't do it. I love you all very much. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you all for Monday's horoscope. Much love. Peace.